Hello, it's day 76 in Sydney's COVID lockdown, and it's Locktail 21. We've made it into the 1910s to 1920 period. And this 21st Locktail is a Negroni, one of my favourite cocktails. And such a variable cocktail, and one that's certainly made its way back onto most of the popular cocktail lists of today. So some people get very fussy or very anal, if you like, about making sure that this is 3 even parts. I'm not sure where I sit on that, but I am going with a 3 even part mix. And this is a cocktail for fans of bitter cocktails. If you don't like bitter cocktails, this isn't for you. If you like bitter cocktails, this is one that you can just keep adding more bitterness to. Now, that one of the stories that one of the origin stories for the Negroni is that it came from 1919. When Camillo Negroni, whether he was a count or not, in Italy, asked the bartender Fosco Scarselli to take his favourite Americano cocktail and give it more punch. So he took the soda water out and he added the bitterness, and then apparently patrons would come in and they would ask for one of Count Negroni's drinks. So we start with gin. If we're going with sort of the early 1900 eras, I'm going to get some more mileage out of this Hammer and Son Old English gin, which is in the sort of Old Tom's style. The juniper's very forward. It's got a lot of sweetness to it. So a little bit of extra sweetness there. So 30 mils of that. Then we're going with Italian sweet red vermouth. We're going to get some botanicals and some sweetness out of that. I'm once again using this amazing Oscar 697 Rosso vermouth. It's done in an Italian style that would be reminiscent of that era, but a little bit of the current cocktail craze. It's doing incredibly well with the return to these high-end vermouths. Campari. So this is. I guess one of the fundamental changes here is from the Americano is take the soda water away and add Campari. Now Campari's it turned up in the mid 1800s, and this is sort of classic bitters, and the great sort of deep red colour from Campari or any similar bitters is one of the things that gives the Negroni its distinctive red colour. Now I'm adding a Locktail Flourish here. I'm taking this Australian Superfoods Kakadu plum extract to add a little bit of additional sweetness and a little bit of Australian botanicals of our own. So a couple of dashes, or in this case with a dropper, 4 drops. And I've put the link to where you can get this Kakadu plum extract on the website. That's just gonna add a little bit of extra dimension there. And this cocktail sometimes listed as made in the glass, but you'll find certainly most bars will mix this in a mixing glass. They'll get it nice and cold. It can be with ice cubes. I'm using 2 large cubes of ice here because I want to cool it down, but I don't want too much of the ice to melt. I don't want it to dilute too much, because we're pouring this onto ice, and when it ends up in the glass on ice, you start the drink with this strong hit of bitterness and flavour, and depending on how quickly you drink it, it slowly dilutes anyway with the ice that it's on. So I want to get it cold. I don't want to get too much water in there just yet. Oh, there we go. Get a glass, like a double rocks or something like this, with a large cube or sphere of ice in it. And then we're going to use our Hawthorn strainer and strain that into the glass. Get that amazing sort of deep red colour to it. And then whether you don't have to garnish this cocktail, but if you do, a little bit of orange zest oil floated on the top, and then either an orange slice or the orange peel itself as you garnish. And there we have it, very close to a traditional Negroni with a little bit of Australian flair. Numbers seem to flatten in Sydney at the moment, so maybe we're seeing the top of the growth and some way out, but almost the weekend again. Why don't you go and make yourself a cocktail, and if you like bitter, like I do, then why not make it a Negroni? Cheers, and see you in the next couple of days for the next one, the Singapore Sling. Very nice.